Hello everyone, my name is Akshay Kumar Dattatreya Bhagat and today is 18th of July 2022 and it's my original video. Our today's topic is how data flows in full stack development. So we will see. So in previous video we have seen that what is meant by MVC and how data flows in MVC. So but the MVC is very old one, so it is not preferred latest, because in MVC, as we can see, we are having one server, and in which one server only, that is the view and uh, model, view and control, everything is under MVC. So basically if we want to change the any type, means if we want to change any code into the view side, at that time we have to change it in our controller also, means totally it is interconnected between each other, so it forms an tight coupling. So basically the in full stack development in latest version, everything is separated, means if we'll see the flow at that time, if we want machine to machine communication, so during machine to machine communication, the viewpoint is totally neglected, means only the machine should understand what the logic is. The point of focus is not view. So at that time the machine to machine communication should be handled. Suppose machine to machine communication means, if we take an example, then other bank ATM. Suppose we are using an ICICI Bank ATM and we are having account of SBI. So at that time we are withdrawing money from ICICI Bank. So at that time the ICICI Bank doesn't call, or it doesn't verifies with any client or anyone. It directly communicate with the SBI server, and it gives the user or account holder information which is entered, that is whether it is account number, card number or its password, and it verifies with the SBI server. And if SBI server checks it into his database, and if the account details found okay, then the user gets its transaction or whatever he is searching for. So like this it is having machine to machine communication. Like this only, for this sake, we are having machine to machine communication. So in full stack development, we are having at the one end user side, and at the other side we are having server side. So basically in server side, our view is totally differentiated, and our view server, and again our whatever our controller server, that is a different server, and our database server. So like this it is distinguished. Suppose we are giving one request to, or hitting one URL, at that time our HTTP request goes to our web server, and in web server it this request goes to the controller, and then controller means it is actually a backend process. In backend it actually calls the method, or whichever we have to do transaction, or whatever we have to do. So that request has been gone to the controller, and controller opens it, and it gives to the model, and in model it transfers to the database, and it takes the information from database, and it again gets back to the model, and again model gives to the controller, and again controller it decodes it, and it goes to the view, and in view it again in view it again it converts the user understandable language, like table format or any other format, and it displays to the user. So basically this is totally an donkey work. So in full stack development, all this donkey work has been minimized. So how it is minimized? So basically whichever we are having view, so basically this again and again whenever we are calling method, so this process is repeating again and again. So this is totally minimized. So the view server has been taken aside. Suppose we do any changes into view, or we change any technology of view. Suppose now we are using now HTML or CSS or any other front-end languages for user interface. Suppose in future if we use another language, so at that time it is very difficult to change everything from controller, from our backend. Backend it is every connected. So that is so means it is very complicated. We can't change it. So this has been introduced. So this is totally minimized by introducing Angular in between. So in our server side and user side, in between the Angular has been introduced. So Angular does the work of the front end. So in Angular internally it is having HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So the view is connected totally to the user side. How the user want in that format it is converted. So whether we'll use Angular or any other technology, upcoming technology, we can use it and we can change whatever we want. So the backend process is not means actually disturbed because of the changes which we have done in the view. Our backend code is again for safer side. In future also we can use the backend code as it is, whatever we are using. So this has been developed. So again, why this server and everything has been attached? So because now we are using and HTML or CSS, which is now currently running. But in future, if any other technology comes which is easier than this HTML CSS, then at that time our backend should be safer side. The totally we means it, our requirement is that the minimum changes has to be done into that. So for that sake, the view side is been totally to the UI side, and our backend code is safe. So in Angular, we are having HTML, CSS, JavaScript like technologies, in which HTML like it provides the structure of our user interface. Then CSS provides the styling sheets of our user interface, and again JavaScript provides the structure or any logics to the our interface. Then in our then the in like this only, in if we talk about the model to database server, at that time there also we are having donkey work, because each and every time if we want any record or any other to communicate with the database, at that time every time each and every time we are giving our method or calling that method every time, each and every time we are calling that. So that is minimized totally by the actually JSP. So basically JPA, that is Java Persistence Application. So basically the Java Persistent Application is an is a Java. So before this we are having Hibernate. We can use Hibernate also, but if Hibernate doesn't give access, then so for the safer side, the Java has introduced their own application for that sake. So internally it is doing the work of the model only, but it is just minimizing the work of the developer. The at every time which we have creating method or calling that fetching the data. So this total work has been done by the Hibernate or JPA, that is Java Persistent Application. So in if we go to Java, then we are having a framework, that is a Spring Framework. So in Spring Framework, we are having the front side which is communicating with the that is user server and the web server. So that is connected with the Spring Web. So Spring Web is connected with the controller. Then the as user hits the URL or requests the URL, whatever it is wants the data, at that time that request has been gone to the our Angular, controller. At that time, controller gives that takes that information from the model through the Hibernate or JPA. Then that our Java request has been taken from the database, and through table format it comes back, and it gives in to the view interface, and from view interface goes to the it goes to the user as user understands it. So like this it the flow continues. And in Spring also we are having the different, that is IOC, or we can say dependency injection. So basically IOC is an inversion of control or dependency injection. In this whatever our logic part is there, so that is done into IOC or dependency injection. It provides dependency, means as we are creating every time we are creating an object if we want to fetch some data. So for every object we have to create a new object for calling the data. So that work has been totally minimized by this IOC and dependency injection. Automatically the object has been created, and it calls the object. Whatever we are data we have to fetch, that data has been retrieved from the database, and it goes to the interface. So basically this, by doing this total cycle, our full stack development approach is super fast, and this is the total communication cycle between the user and the server and the backend database whichever we are having. So basically this is all about the full stack development. Thank you.